We are going to go over the Certificate of Incorporation for GoogleInc out of Delaware, and I've got the statute pulled up, so we will go through each article and see if it's in compliance. It's statute section 102, the contents. You'll notice how it is labeled Certificate of Incorporation in Delaware. Certificate of Incorporation, in other words, is Articles of Incorporation. As we know, Delaware is the popular state to get incorporated. The very first subsection of Section 102 is the Certificate of Incorporation shall set forth the name and shall include one of these words, and we'll see if ours does. Well, first let me go over this first section. Google filed this amendment and restated the certificate, so they had to put this in there to show that what they were doing to the first Certificate of Incorporation. They were amending that first one with this one, and they've labeled it as Exhibit A. This section right here is basically they're saying it's a corporation, and we are amending and reinstated this. It is set forth in Exhibit A, and then the Vice President and Secretary signed it. Then we will get started with the articles. So the very first article should contain the name and incorporated, just as subsection A says, one of these words, and it does. So we know that that article is in compliance. And then Article 2 of the statute says the address shall be stated and the nature of the business or purposes to be conducted or promoted. So the address is in subsection 2, and the nature of the business or purposes to be conducted is in subsection 3. You'll notice that in this Certificate of Incorporation, they've included the purpose and the address under Article 2. I don't think that it's a big deal just because the statute has it numbered separately. I think that they can include the purpose and the address under one article and be in compliance. The next section we will go over, notice the address should contain the registered agent, and it does. The name of the registered agent and at such address is Corporation Service Company. It has the address, County of Newcastle, Centerville Road, Suite 400, Delaware. And then we'll move on to Article 3. If the corporation is to be authorized to issue only one class of stock, the total number of shares shall be stated, shall have authority to issue, and the par value. So we will go through here and see if they have correctly labeled the shares. Common stock, the total number of shares that the corporation is authorized to issue is 864 million some shares. The number of shares authorized is this, and then you'll see the par value correctly labeled there, and again there. The number of shares authorized is this, so it's very clearly defined in the number of shares that they're authorized to issue, labeled out. And then we will go on to Article 4. The name and mailing address of the incorporator or incorporators, if the powers are to terminate upon the filing of the certificate, and the name and mailing address. So we'll see. The rights and privileges, the dividends, this is still more along the lines of the stocks. It is subsectioned off into the shareholders of the preferred stock and the dividends, the valuation of consideration, the method, the notice of transaction, shall give each holder the effective of non-compliance, the voting rights and board of directors, right to convert. I haven't seen another article in here. The definitions, no adjustments, deemed issuance of still on the shares. Well, let's see if they the stock is clearly defined in several pages in the certificate of this incorporation. I do not see a specific article or paragraph, subsection even, that has for who is the incorporators and their address. I don't see it in here. So that part is not in compliant. The powers that may terminate once it's filed, I don't see that in there either. In addition to the matters required subsection, the certificate may also contain any of the following: business and for the conduct of the affairs, any provision stockholders, class, or members of non-stock corporation are not contrary, any provision which is required or permitted. And so we will go through here. You will, as you scroll through here and review this, it's very defined in the stocks and the shareholders, the distributions, impairment, fragments of shares. I think the intention is to cover all boundaries when it comes to any class of stock, and not leave anything out. As we go on through here, we will find Article 5. It again is for the rights and privileges of the senior common stock, still, discussing the stock in that article. The common stock. One thing that I did notice is right here, it has, so long as Section 2115 of the California General Corporation Law purports, it goes on to quote the California General Corporation Law. However, they are filing this in Delaware, so I'm not sure that that was the intention to do that. And then we will go on through the statute and see what else is required. It says the provision limiting the duration. You'll notice that it says corporations have perpetual existence, so that's incompliant. The voting is right there. Of subsection 4, the vote of a large portion of the stock. Written ballot. So they're in compliant with those two. Here's the liable, except as they may be liable for reason for their own conduct. Personal liability, let's see if they explain that anywhere. I don't see a subsection. Oh, right here, shall not be personal liable in the corporation. So yes, it is compliant. That one is compliant as well with the statute. Then we'll go on to eliminating personal liability. That is any powers conferred exclusion to the name. As the name exists, general corporation shall not be personally liable, may indemnify, and then meetings of the stockholders. They finish with this. This is the end of it. The books of the corporation may be kept outside of the state of Delaware, as such place or places may be designated from the time to time. And then let's go on through the statute and see if there's anything else that they should have had in there. Maybe they didn't, or maybe they put it somewhere else. I didn't see a provision that would impose liability on a stockholder. This page right here is the final page, so I think it just goes over the meetings of the stockholders may be held within or without the state of Delaware, as the bylaws may provide. So the bylaws may go into obviously more detail than the articles are. The books are kept. So for the most part, it is compliant, but again, there was a couple of things that I felt like were missing, were not in there. But overall, GoogleInc was very compliant with the Delaware statute for the Articles of Incorporation.